All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a really shocking and important story that just came out of New Zealand. Now, I know a lot of you might be thinking, wait, New Zealand, isn't that the place where everything's peaceful and there are no real threats? Well, let me tell you, that couldn't be further from the truth. And this story is going to blow your mind, trust me. So sit back, relax, and let's unpack this case that's got people talking all over the world. Here's the deal. A former New Zealand soldier has been convicted of attempted espionage and sentenced to 2 years in military detention. Now, hold on. That's a big deal. Why? Because this is the first time a serving soldier has been convicted of attempted espionage in New Zealand. That's not just a local story, that's a global story. And the person in question is someone who had ties to far-right groups and even founded a far-right organization called the Dominion Movement before the 15 March terror attacks. Yeah, that's right. Let's talk about that for a second. The 15 March terror attacks, you know, that was a major event in New Zealand history, right? So this guy who's now a convicted spy was involved in that, and now he's been found guilty of attempted espionage, dishonestly accessing a computer system, and possessing an objectionable publication. That's a lot to take in, but let's break it down step by step. Let's talk about the soldier himself. His name is currently suppressed, so we don't know who he is, but what we do know is that he had ties to far-right groups and founded the Dominion Movement. Now, if you're not familiar with that group, I'll give you a quick rundown. The Dominion Movement is a far-right organization that's been linked to some pretty extreme views. They've been known to promote white supremacy and other ideologies that are pretty much the antithesis of what New Zealand stands for. This guy wasn't just some random soldier who got caught up in something. He was actively involved in groups that are considered extremist in nature. The case itself is pretty interesting. The soldier had contact with a third party indicating a desire to defect. That's a big red flag, right? If you're a soldier and you're talking about defecting, that's not exactly a normal thing to do. So that led to an undercover officer posing as a foreign agent reaching out to him. The soldier provided sensitive information, including maps, aerial photographs, access codes, and assessments of the vulnerabilities of Linton Military Camp. That's a lot of information. Let's put that into perspective. Linton Military Camp is a real place, and it's a key military installation in New Zealand. If someone had access to that kind of information, that could be a huge security risk. So what does that mean? Well, it means that this soldier was willing to give away information that could have been used by foreign agents to compromise New Zealand's military operations. This case has a lot of implications. First off, it's the first time a serving soldier has been convicted of attempted espionage in New Zealand. That's a big deal because it shows that the country's intelligence and security agencies are on high alert. It also shows that even within their own military, there are people who might be willing to betray their country for whatever reasons. Now, the soldier was arrested in 2019 and initially faced 17 charges. But ultimately, he received a 2-year sentence. That's a relatively light sentence for attempted espionage, but I guess it's because he pleaded guilty. So he didn't go to trial, which might have been a factor in the sentencing. Let's talk about the legal experts. They note that while espionage is rare in New Zealand, the country still has valuable assets that could be of interest to foreign entities. So that's a bit of a wake-up call. Even though New Zealand might not be the first place you think of when it comes to espionage, it's still a target. And this case shows that even someone within the military could be a threat. So what does that mean for the future? Well, it means that New Zealand's security agencies have to be even more vigilant. It also means that the military has to be more careful about who they're allowing to serve, especially if someone has ties to far-right groups or extremist ideologies. I want to take a moment to talk about the implications of this case. First, it's a reminder that even in countries that are considered peaceful, there are still threats. It's also a reminder that even within our own military, there are people who might not have our best interests at heart. And that's a scary thought. So what can we do about it? Well, it's important to stay informed, to support our security agencies, and to be aware of the signs of extremism and espionage. Because if we don't, then we're leaving ourselves vulnerable to threats that we might not even be aware of. I know some of you might be thinking, but wait, isn't this just a one-off case? Well, the answer is no. This is a sign of something bigger. It's a sign that even in the most peaceful countries, there are still people who are willing to betray their country for whatever reasons. And that's a problem. So what can we do? Well, we can support our security agencies, we can be vigilant, and we can make sure that we're not allowing people with extremist ideologies to get into positions of power. Because if we do, then we're leaving ourselves open to all kinds of threats. This case is a big deal. It's a reminder that even in the most peaceful countries, there are still threats. It's also a reminder that even within our own military, there are people who might not have our best interests at heart. And that's a scary thought. but it's also a call to action. We need to be more vigilant. We need to support our security agencies, and we need to make sure that we're not allowing people with extremist ideologies to get into positions of power, because if we do, then we're leaving ourselves open to all kinds of threats. So what do you think about this case? Are you surprised that it happened in New Zealand? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.